The threat for really heavy rain builds the next few days. The potential of mudslides and significant flooding. This is a high concern. I want to show you how this builds. Plus, I want to take you deep into May. I want to get into the conditions out there, the water temperatures, the wind shear, where we could see some development. We'll do all of that in this video. So thank you for spending time with me. But we need to start with this. This is just the next 3 days. This is today, tomorrow into Saturday. Look at Haiti and the Dominican Republic, especially as we work our way into the DR. Look at some of these totals, some of the black shading showing up. That would be 150 millimeters of rain or 6 inches of rain. Dangerous rivers are coming our way in parts of Haiti, in much of the Dominican Republic with significant flooding. Let me show you this. Puerto Rico and the British and U.S. Virgin Islands, Tortola down through St. Croix, back through Puerto Rico. Look at these totals similar. We'll have some spots for 3-day totals. So just through Saturday of 100 millimeters of rain to 150 millimeters of rain, or 4 to 6 inches of rain. Dangerous rivers again. Power outages are going to be likely in spots with a heavy rain that will impact the grid. So monitoring this carefully. Mudslides are going to be a potential. Giving you the heads up. Thank you for sharing this information through the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. And watch elsewhere how this is about to build. Here's what's going on. We have some areas of rain, even some scattered showers overnight in parts of Jamaica. I've been watching that. Haiti, the Dominican Republic. We're going to see this build further. Been watching Guyana and Suriname, of course, Costa Rica, Panama, El Salvador. We've had some big rain from overnight. This is all tied together with what's going on regionally. Look at this. Up toward Bermuda, we have some of that rain here. That front moving off the coast of the United States, that is going to draw in moisture. Lots of moisture is going to build in the Eastern Caribbean. Meanwhile, it is going to be super dry and super hot parts of the Bahamas, Florida, southern United States, and parts of Mexico. So on the flip side of the heavy rain, while some of us are getting that, others are going to get that heat in dry weather building in. It's amazing how the weather is such a give and take. So let me take you through this, what we're watching. Today, scattered areas of rain. We've had some heavy downpours in parts of our islands the last few days. Still watching Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, and Suriname. But scattered areas of rain, Jamaica, Haiti, even near the Turks and Caicos, we could get a couple showers. Watch this. This is by tomorrow. The Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, that's where it's going to build. But we're watching over toward Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, for example. Better chance of some of the rain elsewhere. And then as we work our way into the weekend, I just showed you that area to the north by Bermuda. Watch how this moisture just kind of feeds in. This is Saturday. Look at Sunday. So Barbados, St. Lucia, Dominica, Trinidad, St. Vincent the Grenadines, Grenada, still that rain around Guyana and Suriname. This up to the north just kind of pulls in that moisture, but then we still get the scattered storms all the way back toward parts of eastern Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, getting some scattered areas of rain. Now, let's go out in time here further, and I'll get into the chances of development in just a moment. You can see here by Wednesday, while we get some breaks in the action, Wednesday we get more rain building in. So we're going to see, point being, a very active pattern going forward. This here would be by Friday, so we're over a week from now. This is May 23rd, scattered rain, but look how it starts to build in the Western Caribbean over by Central America. So I'll monitor this spot for any signs of tropical development. Tropical development's a little bit more likely in the Western Caribbean and even over into the Eastern Pacific. And then excuse me, then you see that rain, Guyana, Suriname, back through Trinidad as we get through the end of the month, once again starting to build. But this area may try to develop a little bit, not so much this area in the Eastern Caribbean. Now, this map I know is a little bit crazy. Let's bring it back to what's going on for the upcoming weekend. This weekend, that rain is going to build further through the Eastern Caribbean. This here is the wind shear. Now, you see here's Haiti, Dominican Republic, here's Puerto Rico, here's Trinidad, Barbados right through here, Antigua and Barbuda. Where you see this red, that is a good thing, because where we have the red, that's high wind shear. So while we get a lot of rain here, I'm not seeing signs of development because of the wind shear above our heads. Hostile winds knock the tops of developing thunderstorms off, so it can't really organize into a tropical storm or something like that. So the wind shear is good, but we are going to have a lot of rain. With that said, even though we're not going to have organization, these areas of rain could feed off the water temperatures this time of year. You see Dominica, Guadalupe, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, those water temperatures right around 29 degrees Celsius, about 84 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. So that'll kind of feed some of that rain. That means more tropical downpours moving in. And then in the Western Caribbean, back through the Eastern Pacific, water temperatures are even warmer. This area in here will have more of a possibility of seeing some signs of development late this month. This is late May. This is the European model, and you see a little yellow in here. Here's Jamaica, here's Cuba, over toward Belize, Honduras. You can see near Costa Rica, Panama, Nicaragua. This yellow, 30 to 40% chance of development. Development's going to be much more likely, though, on the Eastern Pacific side, where Alvin could eventually develop. Again, that would be on the Eastern Pacific. So watching the Western Caribbean into the Eastern Pacific for the potential of development. Now, here's that area near Bermuda that'll draw on that moisture through the Caribbean. Midwest of the United States, a few days of getting, even over toward parts of Ontario and Quebec, southern zones, getting some severe weather right through here. Some stronger storms will be a potential for the next few days, right through the weekend, even some isolated tornadoes. But here's that frontal area near Bermuda that just draws in that moisture. I mentioned how that weather is tied together. As this continues to move off toward the east of the Atlantic region of Canada, it just draws that moisture in through parts of the Caribbean here. And then you can see as we work our way through the weekend Sunday, some of the rain from New England back toward the Atlantic region of Canada right there. But there's that plume of moisture feeding in through the Caribbean that will give us that high chance of flooding. Seas will be building in particular on the Atlantic side, but watching all of our islands the next few days on the Eastern Caribbean side, that's where the seas are going to get bumpier. Here's meters, here's feet. You see these brighter colors showing up. So we're looking at anywhere from about 2 to pushing 4 meters at times. So upwards of about 10 feet. Right in through here. This right here is through the weekend through Sunday. Those Atlantic passageways on the dangerous side, and again rough as we work our way toward Bermuda. Now let's get back to the rain and these high totals. I mentioned how we are much drier over toward parts of the Gulf, right? Drier and hotter with some of the temperatures approaching 100 degrees this weekend. Bahamas, the rain chance is going to be lower. Isolated storms through Cuba, back through Jamaica, not as much for us in the Cayman Islands. But again, as we work our way from Haiti, the DR, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, which I was highlighting earlier, that's where we're going to have some of the big time rain totals. But look how this even spills into Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Bart's. We're going to be on the edge of some heavier rain, and some of us have had some heavy rain the last few days. St. Kitts and Nevis, for example. So if we get more, additional flooding will be a possibility. Just watching out for some spotty areas of rain that could give us up to 100 millimeters of rain. We may see that in Dominica. That'll be a possibility. St. Lucia, we could get some higher totals the next few days. You can see how these brighter colors are popping up. Trinidad, watching out for the possibility of some flooding, especially as we get into the weekend. That's what I was mentioning. Thank you for sharing this information. Our rain chance is about to get much higher. Guyana and Suriname, still those additional totals of 100 millimeters of rain. And we do that again in Costa Rica and Panama. But then as we lift to the north, the rain chance cuts off Belize to the north. Guatemala and El Salvador, parts of Nicaragua, especially on the Pacific side, better chance of getting some rain. But this is that dry area with a heat dome building in, which means really hot weather. Campeche, right up toward the southeast United States, very hot temperatures and mainly dry. So 50 to 60% chance of scattered areas of rain and storms will stay with us in Jamaica. Cayman Islands, our rain chance is not too high. Straight chance of a shower, 20 to 30% chance. 40% chance today in Trinidad. But look at Saturday. We're going to be up to about a 60% chance of rain and storms. 30 to 40% chance the next couple of days in Barbados. But again, Sunday, that's when it's going to build. Same thing in St. Lucia. Yes, some scattered areas of rain the next few days, but building even further by Sunday. And we do that again in Grenada. 40% chance of rain today, a 50% chance tomorrow, and a 40 to 50% chance St. Vincent the Grenadines. If we get some of the rain, it will be on the heavy side with those downpours. 40 to 50% chance in Martinique, 40 to 50% chance in Dominica, but again, Sunday into Monday, even on the higher side, we do that as well over toward Guadalupe. Rain chance today, 50%. Building St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat, Saturday, we're up to a 60% chance of rain. Rain is going to be building Anguilla and St. Bart's. Monitoring flooding, monitoring the potential of some of those slides that will be a possibility. Same thing, St. Martin, Save and Statia, that rain chance is about to shoot up. We're going to be on the edge of some really heavy rain, watching the heavy rain at times. Puerto Rico tomorrow in through the weekend, 70 to 80% chance of tropical downpours around. And look how it builds. U.S. and British Virgin Islands monitoring some of that flooding that will be coming our way. Meanwhile, the Bahamas were mainly dry. Rain chance on the low side, Turks and Caicos, but it does take up a little bit. Dominican Republic, we're going to watch out for the dangerous river crossings, mudslides. That rain chance is going to get high and stay on the high side. Haiti, it's going to be picking up as well. Scattered areas of rain that'll lend itself to some flooding. Belize, we are dry, we are hot, mainly dry. Could see a stray shower. Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire, slightly better chance of a couple showers around as we get our way into the weekend. Guyana, that rain chance stays on the high side. Suriname, it stays on the high side, and watching out for some of that flooding. 20 to 30% chance of isolated showers and storms through Cuba. 70 to 80% chance Costa Rica and Panama. 40% chance in Nicaragua, again on the Pacific side. 20 to 30% chance in Honduras, but there's that 60% chance, and we've had some of the rain overnight and this morning. Guatemala and El Salvador, Mexico City, we are mainly dry, very hot. That heat is going to be building big time in the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. Watching out for some of the flooding in parts of Colombia, back toward Venezuela. Very active pattern rolls on, and watching some of those batches of rain that'll be near Bermuda as we go over the next couple of days. So the rain is going to increase rapidly end of the week into the weekend. Flooding and mudslides, watching out for some tropical development that'll be a little bit more likely by the end of the month in the Western Caribbean. We are just 17 days away now from the hurricane season. So thank you for getting some of this information out there, sharing it with others about the flooding. I'll be watching this nonstop. Have a good day ahead.